Put it down. Give up on the light. Just leave it where it is. Okay, so full breakdown. Roughly 4 weeks ago, I broke my back surfing Jaws. Have I had a major injury before? What was the experience like? What happened exactly? What have I done to recover? The supplements I take, how my diet's been, training or no training, all of this information we're going to break down right now for you guys. We're going to start with the injury and actually what happened. Obviously it's Jaws. If you guys know me or know the surfing that I do and know the wave Jaws, or most of you probably already know that I have an injury in my back. If you don't, this will explain everything what happened. Basically, first Jaws swell of the season, and everyone's pretty excited. I had that big year I had on the summer travels, and coming into Jaws, there's just a certain wave I've been wanting to get out there for years. I haven't gotten it. I have like 4 different huge attempts at these mutant double ups out there. So coming off the year I had going into Jaws, I felt super confident, super good, super happy with my equipment and my body, and almost just felt warmed up for the season because I was surfing big waves through the summer. Going into the session, couldn't have asked for better conditions. Jaws is 25 foot first thing in the morning, building swell through the day. Dead winds. It's a rarity. You never see that at Jaws. Maui has these crazy dominant winds that are just always blowing. Almost every session at Jaws, you're dealing with these crazy offshores. This day was super light, perfect conditions, and basically go out there and all I'm thinking about is getting a 25-foot barrel. Like, this is the thing I've been wanting to do for a long time, and today's the day to do it. I catch a few waves, few warm-up waves. I feel great on my board, feel great on my equipment. Huge double up comes. Now, if you guys are surfers, you can see these double ups are different than normal waves because a normal wave stands up and it just looks like it has a thinness to it or normalcy to the way it looks. It stands up and curls over and breaks. These double ups are different. They stand up and they're more a surge of water. They're more a big moving lump looking like this versus like this. They're like this, and the lip is gonna fold somewhere in the middle there. And you can see that the way it's hitting the reef and bending, that double up is gonna break much heavier than the normal wave. And when waves like that break heavier, it's typically a wider, bigger barrel. But these are harder entries, faster moving waves. And so I saw one of these waves come and I paddled and I missed it. I was a little too far out. And as I pulled back, I looked over the ledge and I was like, oh my God, like that was a 20-foot barrel. Like that was it. I really want one of these because my whole goal with big wave surfing is to surf these bigger waves like Jaws and Mavericks and Fiji and Porto like we do at Piper Backdoor. Like that is the future of big wave surfing. That's where I think we need to be at with performance on these waves. So after that, I could just feel it. You know, there's this thing that happens with big wave surfers. You get this trigger happy feeling where you're like, the next one that comes, I'm going 100%. And it's risky to be that way. You lose calculation and you're not as like, you lose a little bit of a strategy. And I could see it sometimes even with like the UFC fighters. They go in with their plan and then they get fight happy and they just start going crazy and swinging wild. Like it's very similar to that. I feel like you can get into that mindset in any like life-threatening situation or high adrenaline situation because that adrenaline hits and you get this superhuman feeling and you're kind of just like, I'm gonna go on anything. I can make it. I know I'm good for it when that wave comes. And that was the feeling I had. Literally talked to a few guys in the water. I said, that double up, that was the one. They're like, yeah, that was a crazy wave. I was like, I'm going on the next one. 10, 15 minutes later, this just mutant pops up. And I'm like, this is it, I'm going. Paddle, I feel good. I feel like I'm far in. Like on these double ups, you want to be feeling like you're too far in because they suck up so much. I felt that way. Everything looked like I had good glide, I had good momentum. When you paddle a big board, what you want to start to feel is like when the wave picks you up and you start to gain the momentum of the wave and your paddling becomes easier because you're at the speed of the wave. You're starting to go faster than you can paddle. I felt that way. Everything felt good. And as soon as I'm fully committed and this wave starts to pick me up, I know I'm real late. And this is a 25-foot wave. Like, I'm looking down, and when you look down over these as you're taking off at the top of them, you just see this drop out below you. Like, the bottom of these waves looks so far away. It's the most unreal visual when you surf these massive waves, because the depth perception is like, when you're at the top, standing at the top of them, the very tip top, it just looks so far to the bottom. And that's how this looked. And I seen this lump of water. I was right on it, and I was like, split second, everything's slow-mo in that time. Your thinking is so clear. I had this split second of straight airdrop or knife into it. And I was like, if the straight airdrop, you just know, it's not even a thought process. It's just, you straight airdrop, you're probably going straight and you're gonna get lipped. You knife, you have a chance. I knifed it as hard as I could. And when I did that, I got my nose down into the face, and I was like, oh, I'm on, this is it. But what I didn't realize was the extra 4 foot of board, I'm on a 9.8, behind me was still in the top of the lip. And I just missed getting completely under it. And that lip tossed my board out. And when it did that, I lost connection to the face of the wave, and I started falling, free falling, airdropping. And in the air, I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm still connected to my board. I think I have a chance here. If I can stick this, I can yank the bottom turn and get up into the barrel. And slow-mo falling, I thump down onto the wave face, and for one split second, I'm like, I got it. And then my feet just go like, it was too much pressure. The rest of my body weight came down, my feet just off the board. And I was like, okay, here we go. Been here before. I'm falling in a 25-foot barrel. And on the footage, it looks like I would have tweaked my back right when I impacted after this. I slip off my board and I do this crazy spin, and it looks like I impact there and my back spins, and that would be where I broke my back. That wasn't it. I impacted there and I'm spinning, and you don't penetrate because you're moving so fast in the barrel. You're just sliding along the face, and that's what was happening. And I was spinning, and in my head I'm thinking, I just need to pull my vest. Like, always out there, like, people are like, oh, I didn't pull my vest, I didn't want to do a canister thing. Like, I'm a vest puller because I just want to get back out and catch more waves, you know? Like, I'm not going to waste time on seeing if I can handle the hold down. To me, that's silly. Like, that's a waste of energy. I pull that thing. I want to get to the surface, get back out, and successfully ride one. So as soon as I know the ride is a write-off and I'm going to fall, yank the vest. And that's what I was doing. I was looking for it as I'm tumbling down the face. Very closely, we'll show the clip. You can see I'm like patting my shoulder, looking. And then I realize as I'm hitting the face, I start to get sucked back up at this huge barrel. I get sucked up to the top of the barrel, and right in the tippy top, I fall. Gravity takes me again. I fall back through the barrel. So it's breaking like this. I fell right here down, but as it folds, I got sucked up again with the wave. And once I got to here, I fell back through the barrel. I start to fall, and that was kind of right when I got my puller in my hand. And it sounds short, but I think it was 2 or 3 seconds of fall time, which is way too long, way too far, way further than it should have been. And right at the last second, I knew, oh, I'm falling too far. I'm gonna slam right now because I've fallen further than I thought. I've traveled through the air, and what's on the other side? Like, I don't want to land on my board. I want to land on anything. I just want to land in water and penetrate. But what happens when inside those barrels, the water tension gets ripped and like shredded, and I swear there's like what we call hard water in those barrels, where water's moving so fast, so violently that it feels like cement when you land on it. And I was hunched forward with my vest in my hand when I impacted, and as soon as I impacted, it felt like I landed on my back from a 15-foot fall on straight cement, and it went poof, like in my back, like explosion, like crack right in the center of my back. And I felt the snap, and I've fallen, I've slammed, and I've slapped before, but this wasn't really a slap, it was like a crack, and I was like instant pain radiating in the center of my back. And my first thought, I didn't get the pull because I was so shocked by the snap in my back. I let it go, and then I'm just getting driven down, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I just broke my back. Like extreme pain. Okay, systems check. Like, your brain is just so on survival and operation mode. Like, I'm not panicking. I'm just thinking like diagnostics check. And I'm like, wait, I totally feel my legs. I have no tingling. And I'm just while I'm having these thoughts in my head, I'm just doing giant washing machine circles, getting slammed back and forth. My board's yanking on my leg. And I'm like, okay, I feel everything. Maybe I didn't break my back, but the whole center of my back was just flaring, pulsing in pain. I get my thing in my hand, boom, pull it. I need to get to surgery. I need to get to the channel because I need to like check this thing out. And I get quite a good beat down. I pop up, and I'm like, oh my God, like I didn't move far enough in. Like there's a monster wave right behind. And I immediately start looking for my deflate on the other side, because you want to deflate to be able to go under, because you don't want to just take the shock of the second wave straight to your face at Jaws. That water's moving so fast. Like my GoPro reads that I was moving 45 miles an hour on the face of these drops. And if I'm moving that speed, then that water exploding out from that lip is moving faster. And so I'm looking to get under before that next one comes, and I know my back is tweaked, and I don't want to just take it and get my upper body ripped before my lower body. I kind of got the deflate a little bit, just enough to bob and get below, and the next one was a longer hold down. It was violent. I got pulled everywhere, and all I'm thinking is like, no, like if anything shifts weird in my back, like it could be so bad. And luckily nothing did. I took the beat down, and then adrenaline kicked in. I kind of started to feel okay, and Curtis, who was the guy, Curtis Chong Lee is who I hired for safety that day. And for the safety situation, if you guys are wondering, like we go out there and we hire specific guys to watch over us and protect us. Like, gone are the days of guys paddling out and just hoping to get rescued. Like, you really want to try and line your safety gap before you go out so you know you're covered. He shoots in, he's like, get on the sled. And I'm like, like I can't really, like, I'm on my board now, I'm paddling, and I'm just feeling the pain in my back. And then he's like, grab the yellow rope, which is just this little rope that hangs off the sled. In case you miss the sled, you can grab the yellow rope. And I grab that, and I'm like, just go. And he pulls me like gently out of the way, and another little whitewater comes, and I just fall off my board. I don't even want to be hit by it. And then I'm like, fuck, like damn it, I blew the wave. Like, damn it, my back is blowing. Like, I need to get up on the sled and just like check everything out. I get up on the sled, and it, as soon as I get into like on all fours, it just flares central on my back. And I'm like, oh, like my back, fuck. Like, he's like, are you okay? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I need to get to the boat, and just like maybe in 20 minutes it'll go away. I can go back out. 20 minutes on the boat, doesn't go away. I'm like, I got to go in, and I can't swim back to the shore break, because that day I paddled out through the shore break, so I couldn't swim back in and do the hike up. Thankfully, Andrea, she's a girl that does safety out there. They're all a team. They're all communicating. They have guys on the cliff communicating. So-and-so's down. Go grab them. This, that. Like, you know, like they're really, really almost like how a SEAL team would work. That's the water safety at Jaws. They're like the best in the business. These people are so good at what they do. And Curtis is watching over Billy, so he can't take me to the Maligo Harbor. And Andrea's like, hey, I'll take you. She very gently, great jet ski driving, rode me in, and I was kind of just hunched forward in a single position after the Robertsons let me hang on their boat for a second, so thank you to them. And she drove me all the way in 20 minutes to Maliko, where luckily Zoard had gotten the idea. I was able to walk up, and just as I walked up, Zoard was passing on the road, and he was there to pick me up. And I just want to thank Andrea a ton, because I appreciate you so much for taking the time to give me that ride in, and be gentle, and just know the situation wasn't that good, and to be taking care of me. So I was super stoked. So that was the injury. Obviously, I go and I get a few x-rays. It's hard to see what's going on. I get an MRI. Doctor calls me. Long story short, he says, hey, after I was kind of thinking, like, maybe I'm okay. I can walk around. I can sit. Like, I'm not laid out. Like, when people break their backs, they're laid out. They're done in, you know. I was like, I think I'm good. Maybe it's just a bad tweak. And the doctor, after a few different scans, was like, hey, you need to come back in. You broke your back. Like, this is like 5 days later. Like, I didn't realize, and I was like kind of like bustling around. The first 2 days I took Advil, and I really started to think I was healed because the Advil was masking the pain. I stopped taking the Advil and I lost nights of sleep because the pain was so bad. And then come back in, you have a compression fracture of your T12 vertebrae, and basically they're like, you're done, you're out for 6 weeks at the minimum. And I was like, oh my God, like my winter is screwed at this point, or it seemingly was. And they were like, hey, this is the best case scenario for a back break. So I feel appreciative of that, have to appreciate the small things. No damage to any of the disc, no damage to the nerve, no damage to the spine, no splintering of bone or anything. Just compression fractured, nothing moved, nothing shifted. And I want to say it's due to all the training, all the weightlifting, all the deadlifts I was doing and keeping my body strong before those big sessions. Nothing moved. It just broke in place. And they're like, it's best case scenario, you have a broken bone and you can heal this 6 weeks minimum, versus like something horrible like a surgery and then like this. And luckily we just were able to diagnose it because the next week I was like, hey, the Eddie, like, what do you think? Like, Eddie's gonna run. They're like, no way. Like, the risk would be, the bone is weakened if it broke through, like your spine, like, and it just wasn't even a question. I ended up missing like the most historical Eddie ever, but went down there and supported, watched the whole day, so that was cool. Missed the shootout and just got dialed in. I was like, okay, what can I do to heal as quick as possible? I'm now just over 4 weeks out from this injury, and I'm nearly fully training. I'm not lifting anything heavy. I have full range of motion kettlebell swings. I can do burpees. I've been biking a ton, doing tons of endurance stuff and lactic threshold stuff, hiking this 1,000 or so stairs up in Cocoa Head trying to get speed records, and I can train again finally, which I'm so psyched on. And I believe keeping training as long as it's not causing pain, like don't tell my doctors I'm doing a lot of stuff I'm doing because they would just say don't do it, but I've been doing it because it doesn't hurt me and it feels good, and I love the idea of just telling your body like, hey, no, like I'm alive, I'm moving, like we need to turbo heal this thing. And on top of that, I locked in my diet, cleaned it up a lot from what it was, which is saying a lot, and it's not totally as good as it could be, but I started eating way cleaner, just eating more balanced meals, eating a breakfast, not skipping meals, getting a ton of calories in for the training I'm doing, and of course taking every supplement I could to heal a bone as quick as possible. And I believe I'm far ahead of the curve of where someone who wasn't doing what I've been doing would be as far as healing. Like, I'm training almost twice a day full time now. My back is maybe stronger than it's ever been because I've been focusing on it more, doing more accessory work for it specifically. I've been doing a ton of editing, and I'll get into like kind of the supplements I've been taking, mainly energy and anything of clarity. If I'm just editing, doing things like that, I want to clear mind, I want to be sharp and focused, interviews, everything like that. I'm having like this version of the C4. This is just energy focus thing. There's a different one, the one that has like the beta-alanine, which some people call like the third lung, and a little more caffeine. That one I use for like second day or second training session of the day kind of stuff. Or if I'm feeling a little tired and unmotivated and I just want to get in the gym and get my accessory work done, then I'll have the other version of the C4, which just has more caffeine and more kick in it. And if you guys know C4, then you already know these things are fucking insane, and they have a ton of kick to them, which as a caffeine addict, I love. This is the company Protect that I work with, and these are the three I've been focusing on. Mainly hydration. Me and my brother did an experiment. This was super interesting. We did an experiment on how hydration affected our Whoop scores, and I've been wearing a Garmin and a Whoop just to get double data for sleep and stuff. And my sleep was all over the place because of the injury. My heart rate was actually higher. This is interesting stuff. My heart rate was higher during the injury, but came back down to even. And what we found was eating enough calories and hydrating enough greatly affected your sleep and recovery score the next day. If you ate enough but didn't hydrate, low recovery score. If you didn't eat enough and semi-hydrated, low recovery score. But we found that if you eat a ton of calories and you're on top of your hydration, drinking a ton of water and just getting minerals and salts in as well, then your recovery score is higher. I've been using this. This is the main one for me, the hydrator. It's a basic electrolyte profile, just anything you need to keep the water in your body, designate it to where it needs to go. For the sleep, I'm a tweaker. I don't sleep well at all, ever, because my brain just goes 1,000 miles an hour. I do consume a ton of caffeine, but even without the caffeine on the days I don't, my brain is just monkey brain going 10 times the speed it should be when I lay down. This is the rest. This is just a couple of stuff in here to help calm the brain down. And then when you do sleep, the thing is, I'm a light sleeper and I wake up a lot. This helps a ton with just getting the REM and the SWS deep sleep. And it's pretty interesting when you take this stuff and you do, if you guys have a Whoop or a Garmin or an Aura, do your own experiment with your rest supplements, because you can actually see increases in these little things like your REM or your SWS deep sleep or your resting heart rate. At least I do. Immunity. Basic, get your vitamins in, keep your immunity high. Last thing I want to do is get sick while in this recovery process. And so I'm keeping on top of all of that and mainly just getting a ton of calories in and drinking enough water through the day. And I feel that my recovery's been insane. Like, I'm in the gym, and people are like, are you okay? Like, should we be doing that? And I'm like, we'll see in the end here. But I got my follow-up x-ray and they were like, dude, you're looking great. You just need the natural time for bone to heal is 6 weeks, but like, you may feel like you can surf right now, but you just need to wait it out to your back, be extra careful. So that is what I'm doing, because I want to have a huge season again this year, and I want to chase all these slabs in the summer months. But I feel like I'm on track to recover possibly the fastest anyone's recovered from an injury like this. Maybe that's my own claim. I tried to get the doctors to say it, but they wouldn't put it in writing. But that's kind of the situation. How am I going to come back mentally? I know that'll be a question. Big wipeouts, big hold downs, trauma after the beat down. How do you recover from that kind of stuff? How do you get back out there? For me personally, it's not an option. It's not a choice. Like, I have my goals in big ways that I need to go after. I cannot wait to go back out there, and if anything, I'm more motivated than I've ever been to get that wave I'm chasing and to push the limits of big wave surfing. Like, taking this break after that year I had, I think was probably necessary. I surfed so many heavy waves of consequence throughout that year. It was a game of odds. Eventually you are going to get hurt. You're putting your life at risk over and over and over and over again. So I can't say it was a surprise that I finally got injured, but it's been great, because every time, I don't have many injuries, but when things like this happen, you just learn, you learn what affects your performance, and dialing in my supplements, dialing in my diet, dialing in my sleep, my training and everything, and feeling the strength that comes out of that are just things I can carry into even when I'm not injured and I'm feeling good. And so yes, no mental trauma, no mental PTSD from it. I can't wait to go back out to Jaws. I'm excited to go back out to Jaws. I don't have anxiety over it. And it's part of just knowing anything like this can happen at any time. It can happen at the 2-foot beach break or the 25-foot Jaws barrel. It can always happen. But if you're as prepared and control the things you can control, then you're doing the best you can to avoid it. And so that is my breakdown, how I broke my back at Jaws, injury update, how I'm recovering and what I'm doing to recover, and when I'll be back in the water. I'm basically probably 10 days out from surfing again, and then we're in the end months of this winter here in Hawaii, so I'm hoping we get some more surf. If not, I'm fine with that too, because I'll just be ultra prepared for heading off on our travels this summer, chasing winter around the world. That's it. Update. Breakdown, recovery protocol, done. Thanks for subscribing. All of you that subscribed over the last year and joined our journey, it's been great having you, and we wouldn't be able to run this channel and be as excited as we always are to put these videos out without you guys, the fans and subscribers and the viewers, giving us the feedback and telling us how much you enjoy it, and it just motivates us more and more. So thank you to you guys. That's it.